Joining us now is Representative French Hill. He's a Republican congressman serving the 2nd District of Arkansas. Congressman, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be with you.
Earlier this month, you released a statement urging President Biden to expedite the distribution of necessary resources to Ukraine, including weaponry. Now, how do you feel about that today? And do you think that the U.S. is doing enough to help the country as this war rages on?
Well, I think today we are releasing the weapons that Congress approved and the humanitarian aid that Congress has approved. Well, let's take a step back and say last fall we should have done a much better job of stockpiling arms in Ukraine for defensive purposes and imposing sanctions on Russia as Putin amassed troops in Belarus and surrounding Ukraine. And I think we would have been in a better position. But with that said, yes, we are, with our allies in Europe, getting the lethal defensive equipment that the Ukrainians need to defend themselves.
And Congressman Hill, you have some legislation I'd like to ask you about. Can you discuss the intentions of your bill, the Russia and Belarus Special Drawing Rights Exchange Prohibition Act of 2022? Where does that stand in Congress right now, and how would it impact the ongoing invasion?
Well, the bill passed the House Financial Services Committee unanimously last week, and I expect it to come to a floor vote in the next few days. This bill is another effort to cut off funding and access to funding by Russia and Belarus, who are committing these atrocities in Ukraine. It prevents them from exchanging their IMF assets, their special drawing rights assets, for currency in another country, like pledging them for collateral with China to buy Russian oil. So it's another step in constraining the Russian and Belarus economies.
Now, we've reported on how Russian President Vladimir Putin appears to be using sort of the same playbook for Ukraine as he did in the civil war in Syria. So how are you and your colleagues in Congress reacting to this and potentially utilizing this information?
For 2 decades, Putin has gone unchecked. He's been able to do whatever he wanted. He's never paid a significant diplomatic or economic cost, and he's really never had armed aggression put up against him defensively. He leveled Grozny when he first became the leader, killed 25,000 people. He leveled Aleppo as a co-conspirator and partner with Assad, who's murdered hundreds of thousands of Syrians and created chaos in his country. And so he was able to waltz into Crimea when President Obama was in office without firing a shot. So yes, I feel that he's emboldened in his entry to Ukraine. He thought he could intimidate his way into the capital, Kyiv. He's failed. The universe of countries is unified in opposition. So the line has finally been drawn in Ukraine.
So, Congressman Hill, to your point that Putin has been emboldened to commit war crimes against Ukraine because he was not held accountable for his previous actions, how do we now respond to this? In what way can we now stop this from happening again? I mean, it's currently these war crimes are taking place in Ukraine as we speak.
Excellent question, and I want to thank CBS for their incredible coverage of what we've done in Syria in mounting the evidence. Congress reacted to first Caesar, who smuggled out photos of atrocities committed by Assad to the West. We used that to pass the Caesar Syrian Act to sanction Assad. We then had testimony from Omar, who was imprisoned in Assad's jail. His testimony, and most recently, the gravedigger. I was the first member of Congress to meet with the gravedigger last December, and it was his testimony that produced convictions of Assad henchmen in a courtroom in Germany. We're going to play the same effort at the United Nations and around the world against Putin in Ukraine. Just last week, the UN Human Rights Council approved an independent inquiry into war crimes in Ukraine. That's precisely the step that the United Nations conducted about a decade ago to perfect the chain of evidence to track and convict Assad of war crimes in Syria.
Congressman French Hill, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
You bet. Thank you.